Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Leicester City Women's wrap-up show here on Beyond the 90. So first episode, I'm super duper excited. It's kind of weird seeing myself in the background, but I'll get used to it. I'm here with Cameron. He's joining me after today's match. So how are you doing, Cameron?
Not bad. How are you?
Pretty good. I mean, not great after that result, but
Yeah.
I still think we had a pretty good performance. So Conti Cup semifinal, Bristol City 1, Leicester City 0. What were your thoughts going on throughout the game?
I thought it started off fairly cagey. Neither side could really get a hold in the game. And then as it went on, neither side was really creating anything of much quality. We had some half chances, but then they had their one wasn't even a half chance, and they managed to score. So
Yeah, they put it right in.
hmm
Yeah, so I definitely found that we had like a really good performance. We were really strong overall, especially like going straight into it. Bristol, of course, is the WSL side, so you're a bit nervous. You worry a little bit, but going into this game, were you nervous at all? Like, did you have any expectations?
slightly. I seen they'd won 3-0, and Ebony Salmon had scored about 5-5, so she was in good form. But I thought we could do it. They only got 5 points all season. I thought be another FAWSL side we'd beat, but it wasn't to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like looking at how they're performing in the WSL versus how we are in the championship, it's kind of a balanced side. It's a bit even in the middle there,
Yeah,
but I mean, they took the win and they're on to the final against Chelsea, and we'll see how that goes. But
I don't see them winning that.
yeah, so there are a few standout players for sure. For me
hmm
personally, Devlin was just phenomenal throughout the
Yeah.
entire match. The footwork was amazing. She had
hmm
so many chances. She was really trying to put it in. For me, that's my player of the game. Do you agree? Do you have someone else?
I definitely agree. She was in the midfield. She was trying to play those passes that would get you in behind, get you chances. Very good on the ball. Didn't lose it too often. Proper midfield performance.
Yeah, 100% for sure. And also Lashante Paul she was on the drive. She was ready to attack so many times. She had so many chances. She was really pushing forward. Same
hmm
with PBG.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we couldn't see any of those go in, but they had a good amount of chances on target as well. And
Yeah.
just didn't see any go in, I guess. Yeah,
Definitely pushing
so we
forward.
also saw a debut from.
You
Sorry, I
go.
think
You
you're
go.
lagging a little bit. No, no,
Oh,
no, go
yeah,
ahead.
I think I might be. I was just saying, definitely the wing's trying to push forward a bit. Lashante Paul was definitely the more dangerous of the two.
Oh,
Bailey Gab
100%.
couldn't really get anything going, but she was definitely trying.
She was definitely trying, and she was also making some key passes to try to help get move
hmm
forward. But again, like we just couldn't see any go in,
hmm
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, we haven't played since mid-January either, due to
hmm
our game against Crystal Palace being postponed. So, and having Bristol City having played recently,
Yeah.
they had that little bit of an advantage. But I'm not going to hold that over us whatsoever. I still think we performed really well, especially for a side who hasn't played in weeks.
hmm
But going in, I knew that we would have a great performance. And at the end of it, I still find that we had a really good performance. It's just unfortunate we couldn't take that win. Also, the transfer window just closed. We did see a debut from Charlotte Fleming, a Chelsea Academy player. She came on in the second half. How are you feeling about those transfers so far?
Well, I didn't really see much for because my FA player cut out half like towards the end of the game, so I didn't really get to see much of her. But was she any good? Did,
I definitely think that she came on ready to make an impact. Unfortunately, there were those connection issues that did happen.
yeah.
But I mean, it was the social media was on top of it, switching over to Facebook and stuff.
hmm
But we got some fans. Just speaking of transfers, we also have some other players to look out for, and I'm really looking forward, especially to see Shannon O'Brien. That'll be a good
hmm
one. Her performances back at Coventry were just phenomenal, so I look forward to seeing her come on. But speaking of like changes happening throughout the game, we saw Fleming come on, but we also saw Flint go off, which I
hmm
personally was not expecting
No.
whatsoever. What are your thoughts there?
I don't know what the thinking behind it was, but she wasn't really getting involved that much. She was having to drop fairly deep to try and link up the play. Maybe they were just trying to change it about, see if someone would stick, but I thought she'd have stayed on at least because she's the main goal threat.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She did have a few moments where I was like, hey, she's really pushing forward. She's really going to make an impact here. But she was, like you said, falling back a lot, like playing a lot deeper than usual.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, different setting, different game format, readjustments.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what happens and stuff sometimes. But just I keep thinking about substitutions here. Millie Farrow came on as well. And for me, she's just an outstanding player. She always makes a huge impact as soon as she comes on. Is that a player that you think should be starting regularly, or is this a player that you think should just kind of lay low for a little longer and be that impact sub?
If the performance keeps going as they are, so not really creating much, I mean, I guess it was a one-off because in the past we've seen the team create loads of chances, score. But if it was to keep up as it has this game, then yeah, I'd try and make a change. But I wouldn't change something if it's not broken at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you there. She's just, it's almost like every time she comes on that first touch, she just manages to find the back of the net. And she had, was it 2 chances today where I thought she was going to put it in? But
towards the end, I thought one of them had actually cracked in, but just wide.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the chances near the end were so close. I thought 100% something's going in here, but the fouls were just really messing with the flow of the game, and unfortunately we couldn't see anything go in off of those. But so just looking at that performance, and we were really strong, but were there any areas that you find that we were lacking in, any type of specific positions, anywhere that you found was just not our game?
I wouldn't say it was positioning, it was just the final third, that final pass, that little bit of quality that we just needed to get that chance. It just wasn't there. They tried, it just didn't happen.
Yeah, definitely. It was after that Bristol goal went in, we definitely saw some shakiness coming from Leicester's side, but I mean, what can you do?
Yeah,
100%. So what are you looking at? Bristol's side is very Leicester Villa Carabao Cup-esque. Yeah, I choose to forget about that one.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah, we forget about that. Looking at Bristol's side, though, coming to this game, I was a bit nervous, like you mentioned earlier. Ebony Salmon has just been on fire with the goals lately. Did you expect more from her this game? Did you?
We kept her fairly quiet. She didn't really have too many. She had a half chance or two, but I thought we handled her quite well. I can't remember her being that involved in the game.
Yeah.
Which it shows how good we were defensively in that aspect. But again, you concede a goal like that. I don't really know what else you can do about it.
Yeah. And that first half, you mentioned the defense. Our defending was just phenomenal. There's like so many great tackles that prevented shots from going in. I thought I was sitting there like, oh my God, like this is awesome. Like, especially you're seeing it from players like Plumpter and all sorts of different positions, like people just running around from the midfield, going back to defend. That one shot that Bristol took that I thought went into the net, but was blocked by that wall. I thought it was going to go in, but it didn't. That defense was just, once again, phenomenal. So what were your thoughts overall on that?
Big save as well from Kirsty Lavelle. Tip it onto the bar.
Absolutely.
That
fingertips right off the bar. Oh, thank God. I was so happy when I saw that didn't go in.
Defensively, though, I thought we were fairly strong. They didn't really have too many chances, like I've said, but then that one moment, slightly switch off, and it just punishes you.
Yeah, it just completely flipped around. I honestly was not expecting Bristol to be the first side to score, but just judging by how we were playing throughout it, I thought we were the stronger side. But this is just how games end sometimes, like those lucky goals. But Bristol also put out a good performance. It just happened to be that we were a bit more of the dominant side. But Sonderak says it was a good run. We'll get it next year. Yeah. Hopefully. I think that's another thing I kind of wanted to touch on is we 100% Leicester City as a club have still made history by making this semifinal. And just as a club, the things they're doing this season, it's like amazing. You know, we're bouncing from top and second with Durham for the league title. And just the support that we've been seeing for our women's side has been phenomenal, whether it be from the club itself, King Power, like having them join the club was just such a phenomenal thing to see for us. And I think that's really impacting how we're playing as well. And this team just has so much drive and ambition, and you can see it in every single game that they play. So what do you think there on how do you see like the support? Do you see a difference much from last season to this season?
You can definitely see a lot more support. I mean, there's been, I can see a lot more on Twitter, definitely, obviously, because you can't really see it in real life at the moment. But there's definitely been a lot more vocal support from everyone, and I think that it's definitely helped push the club on as well, and the players as well. They definitely see it, and it definitely helps them drive them on.
Absolutely, 100%. And like we see club legends going in with our women's side. Like we've got Emil Heskey working with them. That's just something like seeing that with women's sides is just amazing, because it's almost as if like, women's football doesn't get as much recognition, but you have players like these who are going in and giving them these opportunities and giving them this insight. And I think that just really shows that like Leicester are here to stay, and Leicester have some really big ambitions for next season. And I think that we're going to be seeing this out throughout the rest of the season. So we got a comment from Mysterium. Slow and steady progression is the better in the long term. It's the Leicester City way. It's 100%. Thinking about like the Great Escape, going up and then winning the league, like it's the Leicester way. So I definitely think that we're having a great season so far. Do you have any thoughts on how things are going to end up for the rest of the season? Like, what are you hoping to? I think we're all hoping to see the same thing, but I'm curious if you have any other thoughts.
It'll go down to the wire. I think that the game against Durham, that'll be the decider, I reckon. Whoever wins that is probably going to get promoted.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that game is something to really look forward to. It's Durham are a strong side. They've been really proving themselves, so it's going to be a great game, and I'm looking forward to it. Agreed. Huge respect. World-class coaches and a world-class training facility. Yeah, that's another thing I keep forgetting to mention is the fact that our women's side have been handed the men's training facility. And like, to me, that's just like everything about this season just seems amazing. And I keep using the word amazing and phenomenal, but that you don't see many women's sides being given opportunities the same as ours have been. And you look at Leicester and, people just always think, oh, it's little old Leicester, and they don't have much to think because we're not considered one of those big six sides, especially not according to certain people. But, like we're clearly making really big moves with our women's side, and I think it's amazing. Like our men's team have moved into that huge, amazing facility, and our women's side's been given a Premier League training facility. I think that's historical as well. I mean, there's just so much. I'm so impressed with the club this season and what they're doing to really push it forward. And the development is also just amazing. Seeing like Jonathan Morgan even said his focus is on youth, and that's their whole philosophy at Leicester, is to bring up the youth. And we're clearly seeing that with our new signings, all three being younger. And it's just the development going into it is really good to see. So do you have any thoughts there on youth development?
I think it's definitely something that the club are geared towards, is signing players younger, progressing them so they can make an impact in the first team. And it looks to be working at the moment, but it depends. When you go up to the FAWSL, will those younger players be able to make an impact and help keep you up?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that how Leicester are training and they are putting that focus into their youth development and stuff, I can really see us producing some really good, strong players. Of course, the WSL is like a big thought. That whole thought of promotion is like a dream, of course. But you have to kind of wonder, it's a good point. Is that going to be able to keep us as a strong side in the WSL? Is it going to shift anything? But I just think that the things that the Morgan family are doing over at Leicester are phenomenal to see. The growth is amazing. The support is amazing. And it's just so nice. It's unfortunate that we aren't going to the Conti Cup's final, but like I said, I still think that the fact that we made the semifinal is like groundbreaking. That's historical for our side, and I really just think that we have bigger things waiting for us this season, and we're definitely going to be moving into some massive stuff. So I really look forward to seeing that, and I'm just really impressed with. I can't stop thinking about how impressed I am with how everything is being handled this season. Like, do you have any extra thoughts there? Is there anything that the club can do, like improvement wise, for our women's side? Because I really can't think of anything.
Yeah, I think they've nailed it pretty much. I can't think of anything at the moment.
Yeah, it's just amazing what they're doing.
Yeah, get promoted. That'll be nice.
If promotion would be really nice, but I'm the type of person where I'm like, I don't jinx anything. I don't like to like get my hopes up on stuff, because anytime I like become too confident or I say anything, I'm just gonna stop there. I'm not gonna. Sandra X says it is really good. Let's get promoted to the top flight and do a Leicester. Exactly. Let's do a Leicester. I definitely feel like we are the dark horse once again, as usual, but I've been seeing fans of other clubs as well saying the same thing to me on Twitter, that they really hope to see Leicester come up into the WSL, and that's just really nice to see from supporters of other clubs. So I really hope it happens, and it's just a dream. I mean, I don't know if we'd be able to get promoted and then go and win the WSL right away. That's a bit of a stretch, but even just being promoted this season would be amazing. 100%. So, do you have any other final thoughts on today's result, or?
No, I mean, they've done so well to get there. They should be proud of themselves. No matter what the result was, they should definitely be proud.
Leicester have been a really strong side throughout the entire season, and I'm beyond impressed with how they've been. Their winning streaks have just been amazing. This was just a tough day. It was, we had no idea what to expect going into this one. So I personally, like, yeah, it's not fun that we lost, but I'm happy that with the result either way. It was only a 1-0 loss. So let's get promoted, then steal salmon from Bristol when they go down. She's a phenomenal player. She's been doing really well for Bristol this season. So, I mean, never know. Keep the transfer window in mind. I definitely do think that Leicester are becoming a really appealing club for players, though, just simply because, not just because we're winning so much, but the development we have, the support we have, the facilities we have. It's definitely going to become a really appealing side for us. So we're going to see some, I think in the future we'll be seeing some transfers. Might not be anytime like soon, but in the future we'll definitely be. And we're already making like some rising stars. Like you look at Flint, and it's previously played at Manchester City as well as Blackburn, came over to Leicester, and she's just proving herself. Just really making herself such a phenomenal player. And I guarantee that she's got a lot of eyes on her. You can already see it on social media. We just got to see that England call up for her, because I think that's the next thing. And honestly, it's bound to happen. It has to happen. You can't look at a player that's got the talent of Flint and not call her up on the national level.
I reckon they'll wait until next season if we get promoted, because I don't think that she'll get called up based off our goals in the current league. But if you get promoted to the WSL and she keeps the form up, keeps playing like she has been, they'll definitely be called to be in the England squad.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, all eyes are probably on the WSL as well as the larger leagues that are all around Europe, but she's definitely one to watch for. And I mean, England's got a new manager coming in. You never know. Next season, maybe. We'll see. But she's been phenomenal. We have a really phenomenal squad, too. I'm just really happy. Just looking at some of these comments here. The training ground has to be an appeal. 100% has to be an appeal. Like, that's a high-class facility. You look at some of the facilities that women's sides have, and what they've been given is just like that's amazing. And you can see how happy the players are with it as well, because I see tweets from them a lot talking about their cubbies and the things that they've added to like kind of make it their own space. And I just think that's really awesome to see. So overall, I think Leicester's having a really great season, and I really look forward to seeing what else they bring. Do you have any final thoughts on just the season overall?
It's been an incredible season. If they can keep it up towards the end of the season and keep towards the top spot, then I think it will be incredible. I don't know if we'll get promoted. I think we will be, but it's just down to the wire at the moment.
Too soon.
The development as well, the way they've built towards the future and the facilities they've got now, we're going to bode well for the future, definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I'm seeing so many comments coming up about the training facility, and yeah, it's just a phenomenal ground, especially for a women's side. Like I said, like little Leicester is making some really big moves, and that was just massive thing to do. I'm so happy and so grateful that they gave it to our women's side, because like people told me before, like they could have just torn it down and sold the land or something like that, and they instead chose to put it towards our development for our women's side, and I just think that's like beyond amazing. I can't get over everything that Leicester's done this season. It's really nice to see, especially like as someone who's been following the women's game for so long. It's just really refreshing to see so much support coming in for our women's side. But I'd say we covered a good amount, so we'll probably wrap it up there. Thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
And on to our next match, which I believe is Crystal Palace. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think it's
I can't keep up with
next weekend.
Yeah, I can't keep up with these rescheduled matches.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the value into the women's side is great, and it was great talking about it. So thank you so much again for coming on. I'm seeing these comments. So yeah, thank you again, and thank you to everyone who's been watching. I really appreciate your comments. This was the first time, so of course I was a bit shaky. I'm a bit new to this stuff, but I'm really looking forward to the rest of this and the next episodes. So it's really nice seeing you, and yeah, see you next episode.